A 6.
Click.
Hashtag for future husband. Heart heart. Hashtag breaker at tonight's conversation. Hashtag verse TV A6B. Text. What is your ultimate relationship deal breaker?
Well, at first I thought I would say bad conversation. If he can't speak to me and communicate with me, I'm a communicator. I need a man who can communicate with me. And if he cannot, that will be a deal breaker. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I was like, no, that's actually not my biggest deal breaker, because in talking to my love, many times, oh, my cat is here. Oh, shut up. Hey, girl. Okay. Yep. She's up now. And she's like, I want to be involved. She's wonderful. I tell my love often. I have told him often, because I'm a 40-year-old man who has some baggage. I'm like, as far as what's an ultimate deal breaker for me, putting your hands on me. That's an ultimate deal breaker. And yes, that can kind of be like baggage. And that I remember this ex of mine when I was younger. We got into a disagreement, and I called him the B word, right? And he was like, call me one more B. Call me one more B. And in my mind, I was like, he was downstairs, I was upstairs. He was like, call me one more B. And I was like, if you are not the type of person to escalate a verbal confrontation to a physical confrontation, me calling you a B will not get you to do something physical to me. And I called him 10 more Bs. I know, y'all. And he came running upstairs and put his hand around my neck and was like, if you ever call me that again, to the moon, Ethel. That's not funny at all. It's sad, actually. But he did give me if you ever do that to me again. And I was like, wow, okay. And interestingly enough, in long debate, we ended up breaking up, or I was like, let's break up. That's going to have to be my last straw. And one of the guys that I went on a date with shortly after him, I told the guy that story, and I was like, can you believe he put his hands on me? Yeah. And the guy that I was on the date with, I dated him a little bit. Like, we dated a few times. We went on a few dates after him. And he was like, Aaron, you were wrong. You shouldn't have called him that many more B's. And I was like, but in my thinking, I was like, if you're not the type to escalate a verbal confrontation to a physical confrontation, it doesn't matter what I say, because you'll know that it's not a physical confrontation. And he was like, Aaron, you were wrong. And I was like, oh, well, maybe. And I thought about it a lot. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe I was also wrong for not warning him that that's an ELE for me, extinction level event for me, and my relationship with anybody. You put your hands on me, that's the end of it immediately. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe I was wrong for not giving him a warning. But then I thought more about it, and I realized that the person that I was dating didn't know the whole story or didn't know everything. And I actually somewhat recently, well, actually very recently, because in preparation for this topic, I picked these cards at random, y'all. But in preparation for the topic, I remembered how one time I locked him out of the house or something because something we had some sort of tiff, and I locked him out. And eventually, I was like, you know what? I can't keep him outside of the house. I need to let him in. And when I let him in the house, he backed me up against the wall, and he was like, if you ever do this to me again, I'll. And that was the first time. And then I realized, oh, so that's why I was curious to test him with the calling him a B that many more times in the another event of ours, because I was like, oh, you've gotten in my face like that before. And I also think about the fact that abuse doesn't start with the worst event. And I remember this person on stage talking about this woman whose husband threw an iron